2020 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship season is at Lexington, Ohio, and the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course for the Acura Sports Car Challenge. Time now for Support Series racing with the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. This is a rare triple-header weekend for the Porsche drivers and teams. It's the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA presented by Yokohama, round 9 from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course. Hello everybody, I'm John Hindorf, and I'll bring you the call for today's racing action. Jeff Kingsley and his number 16 team at Kelly Moss Road and Race are on top of the championship point standings. He'll start round 9 on pole after winning the first 2 races of the weekend. Riley Dickinson in the number 53 from Moorespeed is second in points, 19 back, and will have to make his moves to the front from the second starting spot. The 99 of Alan Metney, third in championship points, and will start from third on the grid. In the gold class, the number 17 of Kurt Swearingen has been the car to beat all year, and he's keeping up his winning ways with victories in both of the first 2 races here at Mid-Ohio. Mid-Ohio Sports Car course has been here since 1963. The keyhole, top of the hill, nasty little turn in over the top of the rise, but a good overtaking spot. Down the hill to turn 4. Get on the inside there, it's a little banked. And then at the end of the lap, the carousel. It goes on forever, and from there, it's a short run to the checkered flag. The story of the weekend so far is one of domination in both platinum and gold categories. Let's have a look at the highlights of the first couple of races. Jeff Kingsley led off the first race from the start. Sean McAllister from 7th to 4th. Brilliant early running from the man from JDX in the shell car. The white 99 of Alan Metney going wide in turn 1, and McAllister nips through for 3rd. In the gold class, Kurt Swearingen in the number 17 goes through past the 22 Bart Collins and takes the lead. Charlie Look in the 45 and Kenny Murillo getting together, and the race director says that's a penalty for Kenny Murillo. At the flag, Jeff Kingsley wins the platinum class, and Kurt Swearingen in the 17 takes home the points in gold. For race 2, Jeff Kingsley again leading right from the start. Great pass from Alan Metney for 3rd position as he takes care of business over Riley Dickinson. Then Riley Dickinson, perhaps frustrated, little contact and spins Alan Metney. Two for 2 for Jeff Kingsley in the platinum class, and Kurt Swearingen doing exactly the same in the gold category. So those 2 races have brought us to the 3rd and final event of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. They're in side-by-side formation, the green flag part of the way down the back straight towards the kink, and it's Jeff Kingsley who should see it first with Riley Dickinson alongside him. Row 2, Alan Metney in the white number 99 iFly Porsche. Sean McAllister in the Shell JDX car. He's a fast starter, let's not forget. Can he beat the front row to turn 4? Then it's Carrazzo and Kenny Murillo, Frank Razzo and Charlie Look on row 4, Michael Manella and the pole sitter in the gold category, Efren Castro, who qualifies ahead of championship leader Kurt Swearingen, who's behind him on row 6 with Joe Lombardo for company. Then it's Richard Edge and David Brill Sr., and Bart Collins in the blue 22 brings up the field. Green flag is in the air. The flat 6 motors get revved within an inch of their life as they charge down the hill towards China Beach. Well, hopefully not towards China Beach. That's the locals' name for the big sand trap to drivers left as they turn in right-handed into the complex for the first time. And Jeff Kingsley gets a great start with the Moorespeed car in second of Riley Dickinson. And then it is McAllister who's made up a position, and through has come that looked like Carrazzo as well ahead of Alan Metney. Yes, it was the bright yellow car of Sebastian Carrazzo for Kelly Moss Road and Race has made up positions. Further back down the field, Efren Castro still has Kurt Swearingen behind him. That's got championship implications, but with still plenty of time on the clock. having a look down the inside, a little bit further back down the field. That looked like Joe Lombardo trying to make up manoeuvres there. In fact, no, it was Michael Manella in the white car, but what a first half green flag lap for the pole sitter, Jeff Kingsley, for Kelly Moss Road and Race, looking for the perfect weekend and 3 wins. What a boost to his championship challenge for 2020 that would be. There's a big gap there, isn't there? As he goes into the keyhole, then Riley Dickinson with the shield motif on the bonnet of that car, down the inside. That's a very brave move from the 57 of Frank Grasso, who was having a little bit of a look there. Looked like he may have made that position on Michael Manella. Look at the gap. Can't believe the amount of ground that has been put into the rest of the field as side by side. 27 on the inside, which is the left-hand side and the correct side for the top of the hill. That's Sebastian Carrazzo. Alan Metni, best of the Masters class. Masters for the drivers who have a little bit more experience of life, if not necessarily racing. And that means, of course, that the iFly car has ABS mandated on that car, and those are the only cars that have the electronic assistance. Big announcement this weekend that we have a Porsche Carrera Cup North America for 2021 with the new 992 Cup cars. Very excited to see those. There'll be a Pro-Am and a rookie class, which effectively, for the first time on the North American continent, it is the Porsche Young Driver scheme, if you will, and anyone who is under the requisite age automatically enrolled into that, with all kinds of assistance for those young drivers. 2 different classes here: Platinum, that's the Gen 2 cars, and Gold for the Gen 1 991 Cup cars. Yellow mirrors, the big, easy thing to spot. All the cars at the front have the black mirrors and the black edges to the shade band on the top of the windscreen. Round the outside, that's a nice move by Metni. He'll have the inside line to turn 5. Oh, trading paint, or a little bit of vinyl, I suppose, nowadays, as they go across the top of the skyline. Now, this is where Metni had problems yesterday with Riley Dickinson. He gives himself a little bit more room, takes the position back from Carrazzo. That's 3rd, going back to, fourth, going back to Alan Metni in that number 99 car through Thunder Valley and charging on towards the end of the lap and the carousel. It's still Jeff Kingsley leading in the early running here at Mid-Ohio. Just under 40 minutes to go for the 3rd and final event of the triple header weekend at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course near Lexington, Ohio, for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. Jeff Kingsley leads it by nearly 1.3 seconds. The action at the sharp end of the field at the moment. Alan Metni, who's just missed the turn into the keyhole there and goes a little bit wide. He's just captured that 4th place back from Sebastian Carrazzo in his car that has the livery by Highlighter. Bright yellow and orange as they charge down past the start line, but remember the finish line is in the more traditional place by the pits. Looks like Michael Manella's had a problem and has dropped back through the field to number 4 there, a long way back. And I haven't seen Bart Collins going round either in the blue number 22. So Kingsley, Dickinson, McAllister, your top 3. Then this battle for 4th position over the top of the brow there at turn number 8, and again over turn 9. Car just getting a little bit light there into Thunder Valley. a racetrack that first came into being in 1963, and actually there were some extra corners there at turn 9, where turn 9 is now, that slowed things down rather. So in the first year of its operation, they were taken out, and quite frankly, it's changed very little since that first change, and has challenged some of the best in the world down through the years in all kinds of motor racing. Up towards the keyhole, quite steeply uphill here, great place for your RV, parking on driver's left, but Metney's got the inside line, tucks into the red and white curbs, a little bit of change of surface where it's been patched down through the years, and onto the concrete runoff, and again, downhill now. Easy flat through the kink, starting to think a long way out about your braking area for turn 4. The big expanse of gravel is China Beach. Easy to miss your braking point down there, and you don't have to do it by very much, maybe half a yard or a yard. Lock up the front wheels and you're in real trouble there. The track clinging to the countryside in this green and pleasant land just outside Lexington, Ohio, and that's what makes this circuit such a great place to spectate. And there's Manella in the pit lane. Now, has he had a penalty there, or did he come in for service? Looked like he was in the penalty box to me. He's back out on the track now, but he's lost an awful lot of time. And confirmed, by the way, that Bart Collins in the 22 did not make the start of this third race this weekend, so only the 3 Gold Cup cars running. Castro leading by about half a second at the moment, maybe a little bit more than that from Swearingen in the 17. There he is, that's that battle going across the line. Castro in the mostly yellow 65, Swearingen in the ACI car, which is the white and very green car. And that means the 18 of Richard Edge, the other ACI car, is in 3rd place. So he, as long as he keeps going, should get a podium finish. That doesn't look to me as big as the gap was. I think Swearingen is beginning to close down in that battle with Efren Castro, who did start on pole here for this 3rd race. Been a good run this season though for Swearingen. Dominated the first 2 rounds here at Mid-Ohio, and looks to make it a clean sweep as he is closing in definitely now. He's found his rhythm. Love how the cars go light over the top of turn 7 and 8 under the bridge, and then over 9 into Thunder Valley. Can't imagine what that track would have been like with an extra couple of corners there. But the early races, as I mentioned, weren't happy about it. They thought it was too slow, didn't give them the kind of challenge they wanted. Now at the front of the field, Dickinson has closed down on the leader. The top end of the course at the keyhole and just out of it, it was 1.3 seconds. It is just under a second now. 3/10 doesn't sound like much, but that will give encouragement to the 53 Mo Speed driver. The stylized dark maroon M on the wheel arches, the fenders above the wheels. That's the Mo Speed car in second, but it's still the Kelly Moss Road and Race green and white car that leads. And these 2 drivers, well, they know each other as well. Very well indeed. A lot of competition between these 2, but very respectful. Still well over 30 minutes to go, and undoubtedly the balance of the cars will change through this race. Cars very heavy at the start of the green flag lap, because they have to have enough fuel on board, of course, to go for roughly 50 minutes, and that's about as far as they will go. So as the racing fuel burns off, the cars get lighter, the Yokohama tyres have less work to do, and the choice then for the teams is whether you set the car up to preserve the tyres at the beginning and then give you something at the end, or do you set them up very aggressively so that you have the opportunity to make up some ground when the cars are heavy.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
The action continues here at round 9 of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, and the battle at the moment is for the lead in the Gold Cup category. Efren Castro in the gold, handily. Number 65 car for TPC Racing has the ACI Motorsports driver Kurt Swearingen, the championship leader, right in his wheel tracks. Down the hill, tricky braking area, always tricky to brake downhill. There's a little bit of camber, a little bit of bank on that corner. While those two battle on further up the field, 4th position still in dispute. Metni took it early on in the race. Remember, he started on the 2nd row and got shuffled back a couple of places. Nipped past Carrazzo, but hasn't been able to break away. Sebastian Carrazzo in that yellow and ready orange machine. Wouldn't lose that one in the car park, would you? Through turn 1, blind turn in there. Got to have faith that the track hasn't moved since the last time around, which sounds easy if you think about that with a logical mind, but as you're charging towards it at well over 100 miles an hour, you've got to be able to commit to that left-hander. Jeff Kingsley's pulled out again. Dickinson was within a second, a lap or so ago. It's back out to nearly 1.3 again. Tiny little mistakes or bits of time that are picked up. Oh, and he's got traffic ahead of him. That must be Manella. Yes, it is. Manella, who's already been in the pits, remember. Manella stays out the way. Great driving. Blue flags being shown by the corner workers there to inform Manella that the leaders were coming up behind him, and that was heads-up driving by Michael in the MCR racing car. Also let the 2nd place driver through as well, Riley Dickinson, so the lead battle has not been overly affected. Always difficult for the leader, first man to come on the traffic. We don't often see a lot of lapping unless people have had problems. Manella now a lap down, having made that visit to what appeared to be the penalty box. Kingsley then up the hill again with just over half an hour to go. McAllister having a fairly lonely race in 3rd position in the JDX number 11, the Shell car. He's a couple of seconds ahead of the battle between Metni and Carrazzo. Dickinson for more speed, trying to chase down the leader, but if anything lost a little through passing Manella. Lost a couple of tenths there. Where can he make it up? Where is he a little stronger than the leader? Takes plenty of curb on the run through turn 4 and immediately to the inside, lets the car drift out just a wee bit at the top of the hill, and then down to 6. Fabulous flowing rhythm to the far side of the circuit, rising and falling with the countryside here. Is he closing in a little bit? Looked like he got a better run onto Thunder Valley there. The stopwatch will tell us when he gets to the end of the track. It's been a great battle this season between these two drivers, and well done to IMSA and everybody involved in the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama for being able to get these races on. I think realised fairly early on we weren't going to get the same number of events, so this, the first of a couple of triple headers that we'll have this season to get the number of races to an acceptable championship level for the competitors and give them all a fair chance. McAllister in that lonely 3rd. Now, is he being caught by Metni and Carrazzo? I think he is, you know. The pace of those two, normally you would say, when you've got a couple of battling cars, they slow each other down, but the lap times are very competitive indeed from Metni and Carrazzo, and if anything, they're driving each other closer to 3rd place McAllister. That's visually coming down now. Alan Metney, the first of the Masters class cars as well. Down to turn 6. Carrazzo not in a challenging position now, but will want to get as close as possible if and when, as seems likely, they will catch Sean McAllister. And this is a bit unusual for Sean. Meantime, 56 car further down the field is Kenny Murillo. He was in strife yesterday with the clerk of the course for a little bit of a bump and run, and that's Charlie Look in the rainbow-sided car that's right in behind them. So they're battling for 6th and 7th position. This time Murillo being the hunted, stepped into David Baker's car. David, long-time competitor in this championship, had a nasty accident earlier on in the season, and Kenny has done a pretty good job actually stepping in and being competitive here at Mid-Ohio. So the battle continues for the Gold Cup class lead here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It's still Castro in the yellow and black car from the green, white and black of Kurt Swearingen. Just ahead of them, the Top Racing number 57 car of Frank Razzo. Kenny Murillo, his teammate, I think just a little bit further up the road there, about another second or so. And then that great battle between Metney and Carrazzo continues. But this is getting spicy for the gold lead, and at the head of the field in platinum and overall, Jeff Kingsley clicks off another lap. Still 1.2 seconds ahead of Riley Dickinson in second place. The next car back is Dickinson. Fabulous racing, this. I know they're not wheel to wheel and door mirror to door mirror, but they might as well be. They're trading fractions of a second at every portion of this 2.258 mile circuit. And Kingsley at the moment holding sway, looking for 3 wins from 3 outings this weekend. Gold Cup much closer again now across the line. Into turn 1, Efren Castro heads up the hill, stays off the curb on the exit, but a good exit from turn 1 from Swearingen, the championship leader. Feints to the left, goes to the right, down the inside. He's not quite there, nearly touches. My goodness, that was close. Very close indeed. Good driving from both. Nothing wrong with what Castro did there, held the racing line. Coming from a position of strength, being in the lead positioning class, and Swearingen stuck his nose down the inside, but had the sense to back out of it. Contact there would have been disastrous for one or both of them. The other great battle that's been on for quite a while now is the Metney-Carrazzo 4th place scrap, and it really has been a scrap. Now this started to close down on McAllister, and he's still only about half a second up the road. There he is, going through turn 1 and up the hill now. But behind him, that's Kenny Murillo, who's closing down on them. Or is that Michael Manella who they've lapped? It's Michael Manella who they've lapped, excuse me. So Murillo well back down the road. Some 10 seconds plus. So these two for 4th position. And still trying to catch McAllister for the final of the podium positions. Turn 1 again. This is where Swearingen is very strong indeed. Oh, and off right in front of them. Who was that? That's the 57, isn't it? That's Frank Razzo. It is. It's Razzo in the Apex car. Has gone off in the Top Motorsport car. For my money, he probably clipped the curb on the outside of turn 1. That's a huge incident, and the yellow flags have come out immediately. Good news is that Frank's opened the door on his own. He's destroyed the front end of the usually immaculate Top Racing car. Oh, tiny mistake, I think, coming out of turn 1. Look down the track. Yeah, he was off the circuit, wasn't he? And the car snapped around. Thank goodness for the tyre barriers to the inside of that corner. He'd gone wide at turn 1. spreading parts of Porsches that should be attached right across the circuit. And the crash structure at the front has done its job, but it will be leaking essential fluids there as the Porsche safety car picks up Jeff Kingsley. So everything will close up, and the race is neutralised. The Porsche Cayenne S safety vehicle and intervention vehicle is there, as is the IMSA Chevy safety truck. And as we said, Frank did pop the door open. He hasn't got out yet, but don't read anything into that. Standard operational procedure is that he will be assessed in the cars, in his car, before he's moved out of it. That was a heavy impact for Razo, who was sitting in, what, 7th position, I think, at the time. Now inherited by Charlie Look. So the whole field will come back together with still over 20 minutes to go, and Jeff Kingsley will be cursing his luck, although we've seen how good he is on starts and indeed restarts here at Mid-Ohio across the weekend. The white and green car from the mostly white car, that's Dickinson, then McAllister in the Porsche with the shell colours, then Alan Metney in the all-white iFly sponsored car, then the highlighter yellow and orange of Sebastian Carrazzo. It'll be a while before Kenny Murillo catches up, because he was a good 10 seconds and more behind that battle we've been watching for position. Michael Manella is in there, but a lap down in the number 4 car. Oh, great news for Frank Razo. He's out of the car, looks rather ruefully at the damaged front of his Porsche. He's moving away reasonably easily, but he's clearly had a big impact there, and that'll be sore tomorrow where the belts have dug in a little bit. He was too wide on the exit of turn 1. He may have even run out of curb there. There's some tarmac from one of the circuit cutouts, but I've got a feeling the Yokohamas were on the grass, and that was a big hit at the front of his top racing Porsche. So under yellow flag, the bright yellow Porsche safety car is out. We'll be going back to green shortly at Mid-Ohio.
I am the trusty co-pilot, the moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
The Porsche safety car will come in at the end of this lap after brilliant work, as ever, by our volunteer track services, safety crew, marshals and corner workers. Wherever you are in the world, if that is how you spend your spare time, thank you very much indeed, because we simply couldn't go motor racing without you. So Jeff Kingsley now is dictating the pace as we're ready to come back to green flag at the finish line, not where we started the race down the back straight. Coming out the carousel, Jeff gets on the power, Dickinson goes with him. A good restart by the leader, but Dickinson hasn't let him get away. There's the green flag, and we're racing again at Mid-Ohio. Through turn 1, McAllister maybe caught a little bit napping. Michael Manella is a lapped car in that number 4, and everyone behind him will want to get around him, and Kenny Murillo does that straight away. And following Murillo through is Charlie Look in the red and green fronted car. Then there's the battle for the Gold Cup category. Castro appeared to get the jump again on the bright green of Kurt Swearingen and continues to lead the Gold Cup as he comes out of the keyhole. Riley Dickinson with the Yokohama fastest lap in platinum at the sharp end of the field at the moment. That obviously was before we went to full course yellow, whilst he was trying to chase down Jeff Kingsley. But that shows you just how tight it is at the front of the field, with the top 5 just breaking away a little bit from the 56 of Kenny Murillo for Top Racing. His teammate Michael Manella in the wall. That's what caused the intervention of the safety car. McAllister, Metney, Carrazzo, 3rd, 4th and 5th, with the 2 leaders absolutely together. Just under 12 minutes to go. This is a really good chance for Riley Dickinson. Looks like he's got his Yokohamas up to temperature and pressure nicely. Really committed through turn 1. You have to be. He's got a good run here. As they begin to climb the hill, there was an anxious glance there in the mirror from the leader, Jeff Kingsley. Maybe he knew he made a tiny little mistake. Here comes the 53, but not close enough this time. McAllister behind looked like he was defending for Metney, and it's Carrazzo who's dropped away just a wee bit. Then Murillo, behind Murillo, Charlie Luke, then the lap car of Michael Manella, then Castro, who leads and has the Yokohama fastest lap in the gold class, 1:26.9. Pretty decent time for Efren there, and he's keeping the championship leader, Kurt Swearingen, behind them. These 2 guys battling for the championship in the gold class. 8th and 9th overall at the moment. Very creditable for these 2. But Swearingen wants to make it a clean sweep this weekend. Moving around behind that yellow and black car. Then it's Joe Lombardo in 10th, David Brule Sr. in 11th, Richard Edge in 12th. Manella, remember, out of position and a lap down in the number 4 car. So 13 cars still running, with Frank Razzo out of the race with contact with the wall, and Bart Collins didn't start. Just on 10 minutes to go. And the Gold Cup very close together, as they are at the front of the field. Kingsley and Dickinson only half a second apart. Who's got the performance now in the Yokohama tyres? Who's feeling best about their car? Oh, lock up by the leader. Kingsley goes wide into the keyhole. Just locked the right front there as he came over the top of the right. You go across the crown of the road there. Just unloaded the right front tyre. He's immediately gone defensive to the right-hand side as he charges down the hill and through the kink. That makes it very difficult for Dickinson to pass. He'll have to go right around the outside. Can't do it into turn 4. Drops back in. Flicks to the right-hand side. Can he make it over the top of 5? That's a tougher pass to make. And Kingsley's aware of that and just moves his number 16 Kelly Moss Road and Race car exactly where Riley wanted to be. Nothing wrong in that. He's the leader, he's defending. But for the moment, it seems that Kingsley perhaps is a little bit rattled, having locked that front tyre going into the keyhole. Needs to calm himself down, take a few deep breaths, stop looking in the mirror, focus forward. If you hit your marks and brake in the right place, it's so hard to pass in these cars. Put too much pressure on yourself, that's when the mistakes start to occur. Well through the race now, with only 8.5 to go. 8.5 minutes to go, then climbing the hill once more. Magnificent stuff. McAllister for the moment in 3rd, just pulled out a couple or 3 cars then to Alan Metney in 4th. Then Carrazzo hasn't had the pace since the restart, has he? Murillo, he's dropped another 3 seconds further back, and Charlie Luck, in fact, is only a second behind him for 6th and 7th. Then the battle for the Gold Cup, and there's nothing in that between Castro and Swearingen. But at the front of the field, Dickinson with target acquired. The laps tick off quickly here. Let's just have another look at going up the hill. There's that lock up, and oh, that was locked up for a longer time than I thought there from the leader. He'd have a flat spot, I think, and a bit of oversteer on the exit as he tried to get the power on early. Now, how much damage has he done to that right front tyre? A little flat spot, he might feel a wee bit of vibration, a bigger flat spot, and every time he brakes, Remember, no ABS on these platinum cars. Every time he brakes, naturally the tyre will find that flat spot and it'll stick at the bottom. And that means it's just going to get worse in the heavy braking areas. And there are a couple here, notably going up to the keyhole, down to turn 4, and then coming into the carousel as well. Right, let's see what Jeff does this time. Stays to the left-hand side of the road as he sees it. Turns in nice and smoothly that time. Did you notice he just turned in a little bit earlier in a little more of a shallow angle there? That was so he was coming across that crown in the road that caught him out when he locked up the front right. And for the moment, he's pulled out half a second, and that is precious tenths of a second at the front of the field. Coming down to the money laps now. The leaders are still on it. Kingsley still leads here at Mid-Ohio. Coming down the last 5 minutes of competition in what has been a triple header weekend for the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama at Mid-Ohio. Great job by IMSA to get the schedules sorted out so that we can have the maximum amount of racing in this very odd 2020 season. And in the Gold Cup, it's still Castro leading, but by what? 1.5, maybe 9/11's lengths to Kurt Swearingen in second place. They're running in 8th and 9th overall. Decent little gaggle of cars ahead of them, which is Murillo and Luck battling for position. Michael Manella in the number 4 car is a lap down on those two. But the interest at the moment is on whether Kurt Swearingen can make that pass for the Gold Cup lead. Remember the slightly older cars. Kurt Swearingen in a 2014 vintage 991 Cup car. They'll be replaced next year. The top class will be 992. The new shape of the Porsche Street 911. I've seen some pictures of the new car. Not sure what I was supposed to see them, but it looks fantastic. Big wide body beast of a thing. And the 991 Gen 2 cars will be grandfathered in for an extra year in the Pro-Am, the Masters class, effectively, in what will be new for 2021, a Porsche Carrera Cup North America, with 8 events, 16 races, all on the eastern seaboard, and inviting drivers from all of the North American continent to a brand new competition, bringing it in line with the rest of the global Carrera Cup competition. And one of the young drivers from the rookie class will be invited to the Porsche Young Driver Shootout at the end of the season. So big news for next year, but this year's championships still to be decided. And the Gold Cup has been brilliant this weekend. 3 minutes to go now, and they're still battling it out. Castro from Swearingen through the S's into turn 9, turning in now and over the top of the rise into Thunder Valley. The car behind is Joe Lombardo. He is a platinum class car, so not battling for the podium there. And at the moment just dropping back, so it doesn't look like he's going to interfere. And with Charlie Luck about 3 seconds up the road, these two have the track to themselves to sort out who is going to take the victory. Kingsley, by the way, is just eking out a little bit of a lead at the front of the field. What, down the inside into turn 1? Surely not. That's a brave, bold manoeuvre, and it has just about worked for Swearingen. That's extraordinary. It's not over yet, though, because Castro has the preferred line into the keyhole. Brilliant battling. Racing room, asked for and given. They're still side by side through the middle of the keyhole, and Castro will come out just in the lead. Oh, fantastic stuff. What respect from those two drivers. Championship on the line, race win in class on the line, and no hint of any intimidation, just brilliant driving by both. Now down into turn 4, time running out, and there is a little bit of a rub there from the bright green car, which goes through. Oh, that was a little bit naughty. Swearingen's gone through just when I was praising him. I think he's done damage to Castro. Yes, he has. Castro's off straight away. He's got damage to the front. He's damaged the radiator. They're still in the nose of these Cup cars, and that little rub was enough to break the radiator, maybe a steering arm as well on the 65 car. Well, just as I was praising those two drivers up, coming down into turn 4, Swearingen knew it was now or never with time running out. He's there or thereabouts, but he did have a car's width. He could have been slightly more to the right. And Dickinson looked like he was going to be able to continue, but then the car steers itself off down at turn 6. Look at the right front of that car. There's fluid coming out onto the front wheel. What I can't see is whether the front wheel was actually pointing in the right direction. I suspect not at that point. Steam coming out, but he's done the right thing in stopping the engine because he could do damage. What a shame, because Efren Castro for TPC Racing had led pretty much, well, I had indeed led from the start in the gold category, and it looks like he's going to get a non-finish. Already lost, of course, Frank Razo earlier on in the 57 car, and Bart Collins didn't start for MCR Racing. Just a few seconds left on the clock for Jeff Kingsley as he comes across the line to take the white flag. Final lap then, with, I reckon, literally just a couple of seconds to go as he heads up the hill for what will be the final time. Now, can Dickinson do anything? It's been a well-measured race by Kingsley. Just that tiny error a couple of 3 laps ago when he locked the right front Yokohama going into the keyhole. And he looked a little bit rattled, didn't he? For half or maybe a lap. But concentration came back to him. Calm came back to him. And he leaned on his motor racing knowledge and the belief in himself. And that confidence came back. And he's pulled out now the better part of, what, half, 3/4 of a second, passes the stricken car of Efren Castro. So Swearingen will go on to take 3 wins in the Gold Cup, and it looks very much the same story at the front of the field in Platinum. Just the entrance now to the carousel. Couldn't quite kick out the clutch and let it roll from here, but not too far away from being able to do that. There's just the little left-hand kink onto the short run to the checkered flag, which is in the air and now waving for a 3-time winner at Mid-Ohio. Clean sweep and full points then for Jeff Kingsley in Kelly Moss Roden race, with Riley Dickinson in second. And Kurt Swearingen will take the sweep in the gold category for ACI in the 17 car, with his teammate Richard Edge in second. Here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course at Lexington, Ohio, the triple header weekend is now history for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. Let's get down to victory lane and hear from the winner.
Yeah, 3 for 3, super excited about that. The guys did an excellent job, I have to give that to them. So the Kelly Moss guys gave me an excellent car. You know, these handprints, they mean something, extra horsepower in that Children's Hospital of Alabama, so Medical Properties Trust car. Couldn't have a better weekend if I'm being honest, so we got to keep this momentum going. It's a long way to go, and the point spread in the championships is always small, right? So you can't take things for granted, and you got to keep pushing race after race.
Here are the unofficial results, with Jeff Kingsley winning all 3 races in the Platinum class this weekend and extending his championship lead, with Riley Dickinson, Sean McAllister, Alan Metney and Sebastian Carrazzo. Kurt Swearingen finished 8th overall. That makes 3 in a row for him as well for the 17 car in the Gold Cup category.
Oh, we worked hard. The team did everything they had to do. They've set the car up perfect. We kept making adjustments in practice, and then when we came up in practice the week before, and so we kind of had a cold setup and a warm setup, so we kind of knew what the car was going to do in the morning and the afternoons. We didn't always hit it on the afternoon runs, but we hit it on the morning runs, and the car was really good. So it was great to get 3 wins.
The Porsche point standings after round 9 of the season in the Platinum class sees Jeff Kingsley with 3 wins, adding to his series leading points tally. Now stands on 306. Riley Dickinson in 2nd, 22 back. Alan Metney, Sean McAllister 3rd and 4th. Sebastian Carrazzo in 5th position. The Porsche point standings in the Gold class. It's all about Kurt Swearingen this weekend, winning all 3 races. He pads out his points lead and now takes a 13-point advantage over Efren Castro into the next round. The next race on NBCSN for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA, presented by Yokohama, another triple header. Rounds 10, 11 and 12 at Petit Le Mans weekend, Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. NBC Sports, your exclusive home for IMSA sports car racing, and the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama have put on a fabulous show here at Mid-Ohio. Well done to Jeff Kingsley and the team from Kelly Moss Road and Race, as well as ACI Motorsports in the Gold class, and Kurt Swearingen, as both drivers and teams swept the triple header weekend. Thank you for watching. I'm John Hindhaugh. See you at a racetrack soon.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of the International Motorsports Association. We would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.